What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. It is the last day of June. Oh my goodness gracious. Y'all, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since you have seen me and Karen together. Karen, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Well, it's the third anniversary of the C3 community and our partnership. So we are celebrating. We are also growing, right? We are going from toddler, to preschoolers.
Love it.
In this community co-management adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we have reconnected and just talked about some exciting things that we can do to provide additional value to the C3 community. And for anybody who isn't aware of what the C3 community is, it stands for Corporate Consciousness Co-op. It's just a group of leaders and facilitators who are committed to co-creating a more conscious corporate landscape.
Well,
We
and yeah, and the funny part about creating a conscious corporate landscape is if if you've been with us for a little while, when that started, it started in the chaos of COVID. And yeah, bars. I rhyme on purpose these days. Um, but in that craziness was the opportunity, and I think Karen reaching out, and it was looking for authentic ways to connect in a time of chaos for a lot of us. And just being super intentional about how we connected, and more importantly, not only how, but why we connected, and quickly began to understand the alignment that the leaders in the community began to say, hey, there's something happening in our world of professional development, leadership, corporate consciousness, or a lack thereof. And we want to be around a community of people who are intentional practitioners, not just pontificators. You'll may hear me say that a lot, about what this actually really means and how you support each other. And of course, I'm watching the LinkedIn chat blow up, and so we got folks checking in. Of course, a frequent leader of the C3 community, Chris is out there. What's going on, Chris? And a couple other folks.
he's our July speaker.
Yeah,
July
no.
7th.
So we got it. We got it going. So boom, he gets FaceTime when he gets to come hang out with us. So excited for that. So Karen, you said you have some exciting things for
Yeah,
us. What are some of those? Well, at least the year's highlights, and then we got some future focused things.
right. So for the rest of the year, let's talk about Chris since he's right here. We're going to be talking about measuring social impact, which is one of Christopher's, bestest, deepest expertise areas, and we're excited to have him back. He's been a friend and great connection for C3. That's really one of the things, is that I want everybody to know Christopher. I want everybody to know Christopher. I want them to think of Christopher when they think of measuring social impact. And I want that for everybody in C3. I want them to look at other C3 members and say, we need somebody to go really deep with this topic where we're struggling to be more conscious. Who can we go to who can come in and offer us that expertise? And I want them to think of the C3 community members. I want everybody to know each other, but also that starts with us. It starts with Lawrence and I. We had previously, I think we did in January, we were talking about the year. And we were talking about how we can be more intentional in connection with the community. And here's the point about connection. When you think back to 2020, we were isolated, right? We were watching all of these chaotic moments in the world happen, and we were by ourselves. And what was driving me to connect and outreach to reach Lawrence as I did was the fact that I don't want to be in this alone. I don't want to feel the weight of this world on my shoulders. I know there are other people out there who want the same things as I do and are making efforts every day to make a better world happen. I want to be connected to them. We need to, instead of competing, which, in this professional development realm, it does seem like we do a lot, and we're probably even trained in some way to distinguish ourselves from each other. And first of all, there's plenty of work out there to do, There's plenty of change that needs to happen. There's plenty of companies, there's plenty of institutions that need us, and we should be helping each other, because as Martin Luther King said, if you love peace, you have to be as organized as those who love war. So that's really the point. Like, let's put all of our efforts together. Let's find out what we all have to offer and be able to offer it as a community to those who need it. And so as we grow from baby co-managers, through toddlers, through, because we've done some things to develop C3, the con that we had 2 years in a row now, the being able to award a conscious leadership award to people who are modeling conscious leadership for others, being able to bring a host of panelists and speakers. That's something that we've loved to be able to do. And now it's time to expand that and really give C3 members a reason to join together, something that benefits them, because yes, we want this world together, but we also have needs as leaders to make an impact, to be known, to be visible, to have a platform, to grab the mic. So besides giving you the mic, we also want to give you opportunity. We want to build partnerships. We want to make sure that other speaking organizations know who you are, and you have access to those opportunities to jump on not just our stage, but lots of other stages. So I'm going to bounce it back to Lawrence to talk about some potential for us to partner with organizations who can do just that.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I have been super intentional about this year as a business owner, and shout out to my business owner. So blow up the chat if you're listening live, or you're hashtag replaying it. If you're out there seeking to grow your organization and yourself and your influence, speaking is the quickest way to do that, to you to get in front of audiences. And so one thing that I've done is an intentional action to pay for the opportunity to be a part or organization who pull in leads. And so as a part of this community, one of the things that I want to do to pay it forward is offer those leads, right? And not me be a broker of that relationship, but me to actually pay it forward for you. And you say, hey, Lawrence, I want more speaking opportunities. Let's actually set up some time and actually look at the dashboard of opportunities together, so that you can get access to this content. Now, here's the deal with a lot of these environments, these speaker communities that someone pays for. It's my profile. And one thing that they do, that somebody like me must have been out there once upon a time and be like, hey, you can get access through me. And they started passing their password around. Well, they've locked that down. And so I have access, but guess what? You have access through me. And so let's set up time where I can copy and paste some stuff to you, so you can apply on your own. I would love that opportunity, because again, I can't speak everywhere at all times. And there are some places I don't want to speak at. And so for you, you may want to speak there. And so come, let's set up some intentional time. And I don't know how many times Karen has said that over the last 3 years, but let's be intentional about setting up time together where it's a working session, where you're like, hey, Lawrence, scroll down to page number 3 of all these speaking engagements and what other opportunities exist out there for us to speak. And here's the other part for me as well. We've offered this platform to speak together on this platform of C3, but what other platforms or organizations need panelists, need speakers? Share those in the community and come here first. As a business owner, if you have opportunities for speaking engagement where it may be a co-partnership type of speaking engagement, reach out to somebody in the community, because again, you've signed up for this group as a practitioner, as somebody who loves to do this work. And so, man, I would love for us to be able to share a stage together, because you know what? Hey, they're asking for panelists at this conference I'm speaking at. And I would love to come back to this community and really be like, you know what, let's do it together. Right. And actually be intentional about how we create community and actually connection. And so that's going to be the biggest push for me personally over the next several years of building out in business development. Here's a crazy part. I learned this at a speaker training at the end of 2022, and it makes the most sense. Somebody said, it was like, why would everybody only sign up to be a keynote speaker when there are so many breakout sessions? And oh, by the way, if you become a breakout session speaker, guess what? People actually read the description of your talk and they signed up to listen to you. So they're already a warm lead. If you're a business owner or anybody else, they already want to hear what's coming out of your mouth, hoping, wishing, praying that you meet their need. And oh, by the way, they'll actually probably hit that sell button or buy button quicker. All right. And so those are the kind of things for us is like, okay, where are those opportunities? Where are those conferences? And oh, by the way, if you know somebody who's putting on a program or a conference, you know the event planner, pass that along. Stop brokering relationships and all the rest of these things. Pass it along to the community. And again, you can't speak everywhere either. So pass it along and stop being stingy out here. I'll get off of that box right now, Karen.
You're telling it like it is, though, you know? Yeah, like spring. Spring's saying, right, opportunities are the best way to gain new business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we want to be the place that people come to for those kinds of opportunities. We also want to be the place where people share those opportunities. Exactly. And, you know, to talk about speaking, we'll talk about ConCon, you know, which has taken several different formats. We've tested out, you know, having one live panel and then multiple breakout sessions, you know, in a time when we couldn't be physically together. And we've also had like the think tank, where we just shared multiple things that we see going on in conscious leadership and brainstormed ways that we can resolve those problems, overcome it together, ways that we can move people from wherever they're at to the next level of consciousness in their leadership. And now we're talking about really coming together. So
before you go there, Karen,
yeah,
I want to shout out Dr. Pamela Lard. So Dr. Pam, y'all, she's not only been an award recipient, but Dr. Pam, H.O.T, and the leadership team at the Academy of Creative Coaching, they have been supporters, behind the scenes and all the in front, on camera, but showing up to lend their expertise. So shout out Dr. Pam. And H.O.T and the leader teams at Academy of Creative Coaching. They had,
she just wrote a new book.
Yeah. She just wrote, man, The Joy Whisperer. So I mean, so if we I don't know if her calendar is gonna permit, but you about to talk about ConCon. We gotta have anybody who calls themselves and writes a book about joy. How, man, there's a level of consciousness that she could impart that like nobody else.
Heck yeah. All right. Yes. Thank you for giving that shout out. Absolutely well deserved. Absolutely. But you know, she's a tremendous leader, and she's one of many, many tremendous leaders we know that are out there. And we want this, the C3 community to be a place that we gather, we offer our own value to each other. Before I go on to the ConCon, other partnerships, I was introduced to this concept of activist investing this year. Lawrence and I were talking about it, and just all of the different opportunities. Now, this is an area that, you know, we're just kind of dipping into. We don't know much about it, but we'd love to be able to bring to the community people who've done it, who know about it. What are the highs and the lows? How do you engage in it as an individual? You know, you might not have your own equity fund, you know, but you might be able to, we might be able to together. How it works is you use legal strategies as a majority shareholder, which, you know, can be an individual or a company, a cohort, to buy a significant share in an organization where you know that they could be doing other things that are conscious to be more sustainably profitable for themselves, for the employees, and for the shareholders, and using some legal strategies like a proxy battle to bring about that change. Now, I can think of all the different, you know, sticky situations involved in this. If you're using what could be perceived as adversarial tactics to then, you know, place yourself or place other leaders, which we'd love them to think about the C3 community for those leaders, because we know that they're conscious leaders who will go in there too, who've already been successful in enacting the kind of change that we know organizations need to be sustainably profitable. But you can also, you know, we would love to be the place where these firms that are already doing it say, yeah, let's bring in somebody from the C3 community to do that. So there's one area of opportunity in terms of jobs that we can bring, because this is what I know. I know from my clients that when you are one of few conscious leaders in an organization, every time you stand up for change, you risk your job, right? And we also know that there are going to be people who feel prohibited from standing up for change because it means their job. So we also know that if we can offer people a safety net where we can say, stand up for change. And if this company decides to cut you loose, we got you. We got you. We're going to make sure that you're able to make the impact that you want as a leader in another organization where you're not stifled by toxic work culture, fraud, whatever, lack of compliance, whatever it happens to be. So opportunities. We're going to find ways to make sure that if you are a displaced employee, the C3 community has got you. I'm looking at LinkedIn features. I'm looking at other ways. I'm looking at other feeds. I'm looking at aggregating opportunities. I'm looking at partnering with recruiters. I think the sticky part is vetting these opportunities and making sure that if we're recommending one of our members to an opportunity, that it's really going to be the opportunity that they can enact. And then once you get in that opportunity, there's going to be challenges to making the impact that you want, and then making sure that you have programming, curriculum, content support that will help you bridge those gaps within the organization to make the impact that you want. So that's programming, which we've done on a monthly basis, but bringing in career coaching, right? I mean, we're here. We know there are other people here. Let's coach each other. Great idea, Spring. Like if every coach needs a coach, we know that. So if you are a coach out there without a coach, come to the C3 community to engage a coach. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that Lawrence and I have discussed, and lots of ideas on the table. But we're also, so let me get back to ConCon. Let's see if you have something to add there, Lawrence. You all good? ConCon?
No, I mean, just the biggest thing with ConCon is just what the origin story of why, again, conferences matter, right? It's conferences that can provide not only opportunities for people to feel personally motivated, but there also be not inspiration and tangible takeaway. And tangible takeaway for me are new connections, new relationships, new opportunities when I leave one of these conferences. And for me as a conference attendee, I feel some type of way when I leave and it feels empty handed. Like it was just an exchange of a bunch of hooping and hollering and good music, but I don't have any to-dos when I leave that conference. And so for ConCon, like the whole idea and its origin story, as me and Karen really thinking about what do we want this to be, it really is that example of, hey, we're going to give people something to walk away with and something to do. And of course, this topic of, kind of this activist investment and all the rest of these things, these are the types of conscious conversations that want to be having, but not only just have the conversation, but what do we do next? And so really coming together to really build upon active communities and not just, again, I can't say this word enough. People just come to kind of soapboxing and pontificating about what if, but okay, what will we create together as a standard of excellence, understanding that all in our communities, we're waiting for people to make these decisions for us, but leadership is a contact sport. And so get off the bench and stop being a Monday morning quarterback and talking about what you woulda, shoulda, coulda, and be a part of a community of people who are actually walking the talk.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's take action. Let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's find out how we can leverage the assets that we have to really go out there and make meaningful change. ConCon. It is very difficult, as much as we've tried, to build connections with people digitally. We have decided to make a commitment to reach out to people one-on-one, make sure that we're connected to everybody in the C3 community as LinkedIn connections, because I know that I'm not personally connected to everybody in the LinkedIn community. So expect, if you're in C3, expect an invitation to connect with me on LinkedIn. And then once you accept that invitation, expect me to then send you a calendar link to set up just 25 minutes. 25 minutes to get better acquainted so that we understand what your areas of expertise are. This enables us to understand what opportunities you're looking for, and how to help you build your practice, build your impact, build your platform to get out there. It also is just nice to connect with someone who shares your vision and mission for elevating consciousness in a corporate landscape. And it makes you feel less alone. It makes you feel like, you know what, there are other people out there and the weight's not on my shoulders and we're going to do this together. It's just, if I know if you're a conscious leader, then you've had moments where it feels impossible. It feels insurmountable. The amount of change that we all want to see and the constraints. How to become a C3 member. Okay, Spring, do you see that link, that bit.ly link right next to my name under my screen? That is the link to the C3 community on LinkedIn. So you just go to the group on LinkedIn and you request to join. And it's that simple. We'll go in there, we'll approve you. Then you'll be in there as we've been providing. You will then get access to all of the previous Answer the Call to Conscious Leadership events that we have monthly, the replays, the members. We also ask that if you receive an invitation from a C3 member, to accept it, to then share your own calendar link. I use Calendly. It's pretty simple. It syncs with my Google Calendar. So, and then also if you're reaching out to other C3 members, send a note. Yeah, I can drop it in the chat. Let me see.
Did.
Lawrence did. So there it is, right there for you, Spring. Thank you for asking that question. So ConCon is we're going to get together.
Yep.
Physically. It's going to be so much easier for us to be really feeling together if we're there in person. I live in the Philadelphia area. What's Philadelphia known for? I mean, we could say, cheesesteaks or whatever, but really Philadelphia is known for revolution. It's the birthplace of our country, and we want it to be the birthplace of a huge movement, an accelerated movement. It's not starting here. We didn't start the fire, but we want it to be the place where it really takes off as a movement. And so I live in the valley near Valley Forge National Park. There weren't any wars fought there, but it was where the Continental Army was trained finally to be an army that could actually have victory. Up to that point, there was so much defeat, and then they faced this really harsh winter of famine and cold and death. But what happened in that moment, it was the low point of the revolution, but they brought in somebody who knew what they were doing. All right. They brought in somebody from Prussia who knew how to get an army all on the same page, overcome the challenges that face them, work together, believe in themselves to move forward and create a whole new country. And so, like, woo, that's really like hitting me,
Yeah.
As I walk through Valley Forge, I think about that. I'm so lucky to have that in my backyard. So we're going to bring you to this area where you can touch into that spirit and get ready to face the battle ahead together.
Yeah.
And it was so conscious revolution. That'll be our theme for ConCon 2023.
Let's do it. Yeah. And as we were finishing up another call about something else, as we think about, the work that we all do, me and finishing up, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel, my organizational leadership program, and, Karen being pioneering conscious leadership and championing it for so many years up to this point, just really understanding that the power in moving things in a direction of change, and it being having positive and productive outcomes is really in the way that you create community, right? And being intentional about playing with people in a space where you can be in support of each other. And it always goes to kind of that African proverb, right? And as we think about it, it takes a village, right, to raise a child. But I really believe in some instances in our infancy, or as we navigate stages of life, we are children. And so if you're not a part of a village, are you really nurturing and growing in a meaningful way? And so as we are in this development stage of infancy and toddlerisms and asking the terrible twos and whys and all the rest of those things, we need those people. Karen said it. We need those practitioners and those experts who can actually provide nurturing and nourishment, and in the form of things you've been practicing, and again, the wars you fought and those expertise, right? Those battle drills you've created, those frameworks. We're always looking to partner with people to for you to share your story about where you are. And so that's the reason why this all exists. And of course, and I will always be a huge advocate of partnership opportunities for us across the board as a group of people. And of course, if you know, and so let's just keep growing and going together. And so what last things do we have celebrating this year in review, and what's next, Karen?
The best thing that has come out of C3 for me are just all the people that I've met, honestly. And I can't wait to dig in and meet more of the people that are out there. We have some members who are running for office who we want to support. We have members who are launching their own programs. We have members who have won awards, and we want to praise and celebrate you. And so when I see members celebrating things on their individual LinkedIn profiles, I try to share that with the community. Like, look at what our members are doing. They're doing amazing things. And that's something I want to celebrate too. Each and everything that the members have been able to accomplish. I want to be able to celebrate that, bring that to the community. Let us celebrate you. Let us share it takes a second to be like, hey, everybody on LinkedIn that I'm connected to or that's following me, let's give some round of applause to this person who is able to go out there and get some recognition and make an impact. Happy 3rd anniversary to C3. This feels like a perfect moment to really level it up.
There it is. And I think as an appropriate activity for us to do, let's consciously connect. So everybody that's a part of the community, or you want to be a part of the community, if everybody in the C3 community is not a first connection for you, make that happen.
Yeah.
Make that a goal. And as a part of that check-in exercise that Karen was talking about, let's be intentional over this next year to consciously connect with folks in the community and just ask why. What made them reach out? What made them want to be a part of this group? Because again, this is, for me as a growing business owner, this is where I'm gonna come first for people that I believe can provide some expertise to projects that I have coming down the pipe. Because again, I understand I don't want to be a solopreneur. I believe in we's, not just me's. So that's what it's all about.
Another African proverb is, if you want to go far, go by yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to go,
so if you want to go fast, go by yourself.
Thank you. If you want to go fast, go individually. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
When it comes to change, the kind of change that we're talking about, nothing's going to happen fast unless we come together,
There it is.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So y'all connect. Let's grow. We just want to jump on really quick before we head it off into our weekend, and hopefully you had a good June, because July starts tomorrow.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. We will see y'all soon.